Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here for today's Assemble This video. It is all about creating a little bit of spring in a card today. I'm going to be stamping with some water-based markers to create a really easy watercolor look with your stamps, so I hope you stick around and assemble this card with me. A stamping platform is really going to be your friend for this technique. I am using a MISTI to hold a die cut piece of Bristol cardstock inside my stamping platform. I'm lining up my first flower from You Are My Person stamp set from Unity Stamp Company in the bottom of that die cut, and then I just wanted to make sure I had plenty of room for my sentiment up top. For this technique, I like to stamp with water first. So I spritz my stamp with some water and then stamp that onto my Bristol paper, and then I wipe that water away. And then our next step is to start stamping with our markers. Now I'm using Karin Brushmarker Pros, but you can use any water-based marker that you have. Just as long as it reacts with water, it'll create this watercolor look. So I colored it over the flowers with my first light purple, stamped that, and now I'm going to color in the leaves with a light green. And I'm just covering the solid areas of the stamp and going up a little bit into the stems that go up into the flowers. And then I'll stamp over the previous stamping. Now that purple is kind of blending and moving out too much, so I wipe that off, and then I'm going to add just a hint of a darker green to the bottom of my leaves and stamp that over the previous stamping. And that creates a little bit of shading. Now I'm going to dry everything, my stamp and my cardstock, and then I'm going to go over and create a little more definition in that stamp by re-stamping the purple. And that way you'll get some of the detail from the stamp over your watercolor stamping. Now that was basically a solid stamp, so now I'm going to show you the technique with a stamp that is more open. And I'm just going to mask off the leaves so that stem doesn't go down into the ones that I previously stamped, just for insurance. And I'm just going to repeat the process. Spray that stamp with water and then wipe that away. Make sure that the stamp and the area around the stamp is dry, and then I'll color on a light color of yellow and then stamp that. And then I'll come in with that light color and then add just a little bit of a darker yellow over the base of the flower and then a little bit up into the center. And that'll create, again, shading and really deepen that yellow color. Next, I'm going to work on the stem just a little bit, add that light green and then a little bit of the dark green and then stamp that. Now that pulled that green up into my flower, so I just grabbed a paper towel and dabbed that color away. And then I dried everything again. Dried my stamp, dried my cardstock, and then I'm going to create that definition by using both colors of my yellow, the light and the darker tone, and then just stamp that right over the top. Now, since this is an open stamp, I'm going to grab an aqua brush, or you can use a paintbrush and water, and just lightly pull in that ink from the lines to kind of fill it in and color it a nice light yellow. And once that was done, I'm just going to stamp my sentiment with some VersaFine Clair ink in Morning Mist, and then that finishes off all my stamping. I just really love the definition and the mix of the watercolor from stamps. So easy to do, you don't need a paintbrush, and you can be a watercolorist. So I'm just going to layer everything up on a yellow piece of cardstock that I ink blended around the edge, have a couple die cut hearts, and then added a few clear drops to finish everything off. I just really love how this turned out in the end with that watercolor look for a very springy and lovely card. As always, I will have all my supplies linked in the description of this video. If you have a question or sweet comment, post below. Thanks again for joining me. Be sure to like and subscribe to catch all my future video tutorials. And I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye!